On Tuesday, the Nigerian Senate urged the federal government to collaborate with the Lagos state government to facilitate the relocation of oil tank farms from Apapa in Lagos to other areas. The resolution followed the adoption of a motion moved by Senator Oluremi Tinubu and her two colleagues representing the state in the Senate, Solomon Adiola and Adetokunbo Abiru. The objective of the motion was to end the intractable gridlock in Apapa and embrace the electronic call-up system for admitting trucks into the seaports and other terminals in the neighborhood. The lawmakers commended the federal government for the reconstruction of Oshodi-Apapa expressway and completion of the Apapa Port spur line of the Lagos-Ibadan rail project. However, they directed the Senate Committee on Marine Transport to investigate the implementation of the electronic call-up system and allegation of extortion by port officials and report back to the Senate on the way forward. Now joining us to tell us why the gridlock in Apapa has defied all solutions are Sola Giwa, Senior Special Assistant to the Lagos State Governor on Central Business District, and Hassan Adekoya, Task Force Chairman of the Nigerian Association of Road Transport Owners. Good morning, gentlemen, and welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. Well, you are with us in the studio, Hassan Adekoya, right?
Yes, boss.
I hope I'm right. Okay, so what exactly is the problem with this Apapa gridlock? We've been on it for years with a great negative impact on businesses and also, habitants in that particular part of Lagos. And now we hear that there will be a probe of the e-call-up system, also known as A2, and also that the tank farms will be relocated. And, this perennial collaboration between the Lagos state government and the federal government over the crisis in the Apapa area. Would there be any difference this time around, or people are just saying things just to show that, okay, we're still aware that there is a problem there?
Yeah, they can be, thank you. They can be a different if the needful, we are ready to put the needful in place. Like I said earlier, MPA policy is behind all this we are going through in Apapa. What do I mean by MPA policy? Couple of years back, we normally pick up empty boxes by transfer to the port. The charges is 7,000 naira, all the way from Odin Bay back to the port. Now, what do we have today? We have 250,000, 230,000, just to bring back an empty box to the port. And this 250,000 does not go to the owner of the truck, does not go to the transporter. It goes back around the enforcement, around the MPA policy. So in as much as we have these policies that takes all this money, this gridlock has come to remain. If care is not taken, very soon they will be passing a bill for the gridlock. If care is not taken, House of Assembly or House of Senate will pass a bill to manage the gridlock. MPA policy is behind all of this. And I said earlier, before we have the era of Naval, the Naval came in with we petitioned them to the presidency. Then a team was set up by the vice president, led by the vice president is the chairman, and a couple of enforcement came in. We had to go over and petition them and say to them, we are not happy with all of this. We need a change. Then they came up with another task force saying, okay, Mr. Lagos State government had to take over and partner with MPA. That is where we are today. And now the taking over with MPA and Lagos State government. The Lagos State government enforcement team, they got carried away by these policies before their arrival. We gave them all the breakdown. These are things you need to know, and these are things you need to do. Without these two things, you will achieve nothing. And MPA policy ensure that they get carried away with all of their strategy. What we have today is higher extortion. We have never, ever experienced this in the history of this our oldest sector. What we have today, Lagos State Enforcement, the last man and so-called abandon. We find them today everywhere in midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., broad daylight. They hijack our trucks, they pick trucks, they end up tagging it abandoned. We pay outrageous bill, 200,000, 250 in cash. That is where we find ourselves today. If all of these policies are not addressed, it will remain.
Right, Shada, what's your response to that? Because there have been denials that racketeering is going on in Apapa, but you've just heard from Hassan, his own view, his own perspective. So give us yours.
Yeah, thank you very much, Susan. Basically, what he's saying is regards what they do before now, before they now. For me, he's not just responding to what he says. We have to look at where we're coming from. He's saying there's racketeering. He's saying about is towing their vehicle. Yes, you are doing your business in Apapa. However, there are other people that are using that same road. Let me talk to what is that is bringing your container from Olden Bay. Yes, it was MPA policy that every empty that you're bringing to the port, you have to bring it from the Olden Bay. That is what we have. Now, tell me, that man that is sitting down there, Hassan, I know him very well, does he actually bring his empty from the Olden Bays, or is bringing that empty to the port from where he's actually coming from? So that's the basic thing. Now, how the whole thing is set up is this. We have to get it right. MPA said if you bring out an import from the port, you go and deliver that goods to whoever owns it. Now, the empty container, you take it to a shipping line, Olden Bay. And then when the port is free, or when the terminal requests for that empty, is when you bring it. But what we say is this: you take the import out, instead of you taking it to the Olden Bay, you won't take it to the Olden Bay. What you do is you want to bring it back to the port directly. So you are not following the ETO. What ETO is doing is that you hold on, you go to a Olden Bay, and when it is time for you to come, when the terminal is ready to receive that empty container, that is where you're supposed to bring it. But why the road is filled up is because they are not following the ETO. He's here. We are here together. Hassan knows me, and I know what he's talking about. So racketeering will happen because you are not following the process. Somebody will extort you, knowing that you are not doing the right thing. But if you're actually coming from the Olden Bay and as when you're supposed to come, definitely you will have your ETO. That is one. Two, before now, like you said, you bring it directly to the port, but you hold it down there. That is what you do. And for me, I will not allow you. That is what Last Mile is doing. The road must be free for everyone. So you will not say because you're doing business, you will now leave your truck on the road when you are actually not called for, when you are not expected at the port. That's basically what is happening. Everybody wanting to get to the port when exactly they are not expected.
Okay. Hassan, is that the case? Do you leave your trucks on the road? Because he has made a very big allegation. It says you guys leave your trucks on the road there and you don't follow the app ETO. How does the app even work in the first? Do you have the app on your phone? I think you should. How does it even work in the first place?
Thank you.
And all of these things react to it.
Thank you. Like you said, we are to move our truck from Olden Bay. Honorable Sola Giwa and the whole of Lagos State Enforcement team, they know nothing about Apapa. They know nothing. We grew up in Apapa. We grew up in this industry. And there is a lot they need to know. They are missing out. Honorable SA is my uncle before the arrival of Lagos State government. We have several meetings with Mr. Governor at Marina, at Governor's office. These are the laid down rules of what to do. But their arrival with Lagos State government, they got carried away. MPA has their own mushroom owners, which they form as which they call union, which they call owners. And with that, they will not get to the roots. Now, on arrival of Lagos State government, there is a track which the SA was moving with. If he had hold on to that mandate, by now, the Apapa Gridlock we are talking, it would have been no more. The Olden Bay, Honorable Sola Giwa is referring to the ETO app. Let me start with that. You need to download this app with your registration CAC company. All your trucks will be on the app. You register them. So from your app, you can be in the US, UK, anywhere. Just book your truck. Then you have when to move. You book into a satellite park first. Then from your satellite park, once you are ready to go, you go to a pre-gate. From the pre-gate, once you are good to do, you've got your valid documents, then you move to the port when the road is free. But what do we have here? They don't know anything about all of this. The MPA manipulations comes in a situation whereby MPA decide who to give an approval of the satellite park, and who to own a frigate park.
So are you saying MPA is manipulating the app?
There is too much of manipulation in the app, which Sola Giwa and Co. and they said they are not aware. We told them, but they got carried away because they want to fetch trucks. Now, the app, we are supposed to move from a satellite park to a frigate. For instance, I remember we had to acquire a lot of more parks. We submitted like 27. MPA never approved any. They gave approval to Odin Base. Odin Base has no capacity to accommodate trucks. They only has a space for empty boxes. We are supposed to book from our park to a Odin Bay to pick up empty box. From the empty box, then you find your way from a frigate to the port. But what do we have here? There's a way MPA and the TTP set up a game, which you just go to a frigate, to a Odin Bay with your truck, pick up empty box. There is no park available. If you pick up a 20,000 boxes today with 20,000 trucks, you pick from the Odin Bay, you stand on the road where you are, then they frigate you in as much as they have taken their money online.
So it's because they are collecting money.
Yes.
That's why they are disrupting the app themselves.
That is just it. There is no park. They only let trucks go to a holding bay, pick empty box on the road. You remain on the road.
That's why there's traffic.
That is why they have traffic. Those are things they need to know. They fail to understand all of this. They never make any park available. You have to go to a holding bay, and holding bay has no any capacity to accommodate any truck. They only take in empty boxes, then they ship in empty boxes to the port.
Sure, that's fine. I don't think the purpose of this conversation should be the trading of blames between government and a stakeholder like yourself. Can we reflect on the basis of experience, shared experience, on possible ways forward? What can be done? You as chairman of the National Association of Transport Road Owners, the task force in charge. What exactly do you think government should do? And Sola Giwa, you should be prepared to respond to that in terms of plans by government, either at the state level or the federal level, to address some of these concerns. Let's start with you, Hassan.
Thank you. Like I said earlier, we move empty boxes from this Odin base to the port.
No, just be specific in terms of recommendations.
All right.
Because we are also stakeholders. This studio used to be in Apapa, so I'm quite familiar with what the crisis is.
Thank you. All we need to do is to review policies, ensure the real stakeholders that own this business engage the real stakeholders. These are the approved parks. And the money that each call-up attract have to be reviewed. If that money is reviewed, then we go back, we have a lot of parks. They deny us, MPA deny us, and TTP deny us of approval. They prefer those that are bringing letter from Abuja. They are not stakeholders. They gave a fourth party approval for a park. We need to go back to the drawing board. The real stakeholders, where are your parks? Approve those parks, we will find this traffic no more.
That's all?
Yes, boss.
Okay. Hassan Adekoya, do you agree with him, or do you have other suggestions as to the way forward?
Doctor, let me, before I answer your question, we need to put things in perspective. Number one, the explanation you gave about how the ecosystem works is very wrong. And I must, at this point, also tell you that Lagos State just enforces the movement of trucks on the road. That is what we do. I don't work for MPA, I don't work for TTP. However, to be able to enforce trucks being parked on the road or to decongest the road, we must understand how this policy works. So basically, what TTP and MPA are doing is that everyone go back to your own garage. Your own garage. Before you come, they approve what is called satellite truck parks. That is for trucks that you want to bring to the port. Now they also have what is called a frigate, like Lily Pond. That is where everybody come and converge before you move to the port. So what happened? For Mr. Hassan, his park is still useful. He's supposed to book his truck while he's in his own park and go to a satellite truck park, say somewhere in Ojota. And when you are ready to be brought in, you will come directly to, either you go directly to the port or you go via a transit port, which is actually Lily Pond. That is basically what is happening. The holding bays are for empties. The holding bays are owned by the line. So if you look at what is happening right now, what is happening is that they will leave either the holding bay, and that is the major problem we are seeing right now around Tinkan Island, is that you want to go and drop an empty or an export. However, the of job you want to do inside the port, that is, you want to also bring back an import. So, and you do not have what is called a TDO, a terminal delivery order, to bring someone else. So they do their ITO, they come from wherever they're supposed to come from, but they start slowing down or wait on the road looking for another leg of business to do. So they just don't want to take the trucks into the port. So we are saying is this: if you want to move to the port, if you want to do an extra business in the port, get your TDO before you leave wherever you are. That is basic. What we have on ground, I want you to look, Doctor, you said this was supposed to be in Apapa, and for the sake of this discussion, we want to divide the Apapa into two. One, we have the Ijora-Apapa axis, and then we have the Maitu-Tinkan axis. Anytime you go down to Apapa via Ijora, there is no traffic there. You can go there anytime, any day. Why? The infrastructure have been put in place. Lily Pond is working very well. However, for Tinkan Island, the road there is still under construction, and most of the holding bays is around Mile 2 Soya axis. And because, like I said, all the truckers need to do is follow that program called ETO. What does ETO mean? That is, we should come in sequence, batch and sequence. If everyone move as and when they are supposed to move, we created what is called a time belt based on categories of trucks that are supposed to go to the port. Flatbeds, they are supposed to go during the day. Exports, they move during the night. Industrial, they move in between the day. And even the people in Apapa, we gave them time frame between 6 a.m. and 10 a.m. No trucks move into Apapa. And then between 4 p.m. and 8 p.m., no trucks move into Apapa, so that the people of Apapa can have easy access to their house. Don't forget, this port that we are talking about, we do about 3,000 trucks every day. How is it possible that you want to move about 3,000 trucks into a particular place via only two roads, and there won't be traffic? However, what do? We manage them. We separate them, we batch them. That's what we do. That is what TTP is doing. So for me, as a law enforcement officer, I look at you and ask you, have you followed the rules? Are you coming from the holding base directly, or you are just trying, or you are moving within your time belt? Major is that there's a time belt for each category of trucks to move. However, ask Hassan, somebody that has an import, you don't want to wait till when you're supposed to move. You want to move very fast. You want to get to the port and get out. So all I'm saying is this: for this to work, and don't forget, this is a new hub. A lot of the drivers do not even understand the hub, so they give it to somebody to help them do it. Sometimes someone will go and do a fake one for them and collect money from them. So I'm saying to the truck owners, teach your drivers, teach your managers how to use this hub, and come to the port when you are expected at the port. With this, we won't have any problem.
Well, I think it must be said that the Lagos State senators, in the motion that they presented, made a point to note allegations of human interference made by industry operators such as Hassan here in the e-call-up system. They said that in that motion. But also contained in that motion is them bemoaning the concentration of tank farms, numbering 40 in Apapa. What is your view on that, Sola, and is there any solution to that problem?
Okay, basically, it's true that there's still human interference in the ETO column. That is true. And I said it that I think the monopoly of TTP should be broken. I'm still saying it now. So that probably another company will manage Tinkan Island and all that, because I think it's a bit overwhelming for them. I just want to say that. So the infrastructure that's supposed to place now, to answer your question, let me talk to what Hassan is saying, the holding bays. How many of the holding bays? Because the way it's supposed to happen is this: there's supposed to be like an electronic access, like a bollard access control, at each holding bay and parks that you're coming from. So if you come from that holding bay, the access control is supposed to open for you, and then when you get to the port, the access control has already said a signal to the port. So the barrier at the port will open for you if you come from an holding bay that has this infrastructure in place. However, we're having that much problem, and I've said it before. In fact, MP has actually read the letter to TTP that all holding bays. That is why there's still human interference.
But let me come back to you, Sola Giwa. I interrupted you. If we just conclude on that point, so that Hassan, can also make a brief response before we draw the curtain. Back to you.
Thank you very much. What I was saying is this. I was talking to the issue of human interference, that really there's still human interference. The ETO is not supposed to have any interference at all. It's supposed to be based on internet and internet technology. Even the infrastructure will be run by internet. However, the holding base that he's talking to, that is giving us much of the problem around Tinker Island axis, and yet those infrastructures are yet to be put in place. I am aware at the meeting that we had with MP and TTP that they've read the right act to TTP that all those infrastructures must be put in place. If those infrastructures are in place, what we are seeing in Apapa right now is what we'll be seeing in Tinker Island. Plus, the road need to be quickly fixed. Thank God we also had a meeting with the Federal Ministry of Works. They are doing the palliative there right now, and very soon they finish that road because the road is really in a bad shape. However, let me talk to the issue of the tank farms. Right now, the tank farms are not controlled by anyone. We have well over 29 tank farms around that axis alone, and trucks come there daily. These tank farms are also supposed to have holding bays, but they do not have holding bays. They just come to the road. They don't even have. In fact, when we try to arrest them, they say we'll go on strike. So for me, I'm calling on NNPC or DPR and whoever is in charge that they should, as a matter of urgency, compel the tank farms to have holding bays for their trucks so that they can do something similar to this, so that they can do a call-up system. So you just don't come to the tank farm every day. Even sometimes when they don't even have products, the trucks are there. So for this to work, like you said, we need a holistic approach. We've been meeting with the stakeholders about 3 weeks ago. Myself and Hassan and some stakeholders were in a meeting together with TTP and MP. We called all of them and said, we cannot afford to have things like this. The road must be free for other users. Okay. However, to round up, I must say...
quickly, so that we'll be able to bring...
Yes, it is important that the federal government look into having or maximizing other ports that is outside Lagos State. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Real quickly, in about a minute or two, Hassan.
Thank you. Like I said, there's a lot they need to know. The tanks farm, the tankers, we own them, but they don't know the real owner. The PTD we talk about today are petroleum tanker drivers. They are our employee. The natural gas section, which is in Nopeng, they are NATO consultant. All these tanker, the tank farm, all the tank farm has units, what we call unit chairman. There is no truck, no tanker goes to any tank farm without the consent of the unit chairman of the tank farm which you are heading to go and pick a product. Now, what we do around this tank farm, we have units. All those tanks, let's assume this tank farm belongs to this an honorable, and he owns more than 300 tanker. Because you own the tank farm, your 300 trucks can't just go there and pick a product. You have to hold on not until it is your unit's turn. If we are expecting 30 tanker in this at this tank farm, you won't go more than 10. So now the issues around tank farm, there are several units, there are several unit chairmen, all of the tankers are under control. They don't just move, the PTD don't just react without consulting us, without us giving them go ahead of any reaction. That is what I have to say about the tank farm.
All right. Thank you very much, Hassan Adekoya and Sola Giwa. But I think what is important to the average stakeholder in the state of Lagos is that gridlock should disappear. Yeah. Because of the heavy cost for business, for residents in that part of Lagos, and even the sheer frustration that everyone goes through, because it's a problem that has lingered and nobody has been able to resolve it. That's the problem. But thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us.